Iran is not an Islamic nation. It's a nation that was colonized by Islam. Our indigenous faith is Zoroastrianism.
You need to listen to this. Iran is not an Islamic country. It's only a country colonized by Islam. Listen.
That's why young Iranians across Iran are coming out and saying that they are not Muslim. They are Iranian and Zoroastrian. And a lot of people don't understand just how brave that is, because leaving Islam in Iran is punishable by death. In the past few nights, thousands of Iranians have been slaughtered by the Islamic regime for coming out and protesting and standing up for who they are and who their ancestors were. And this is a pattern that's been happening for 1400 years. In the 7th century AD, Muhammad used his newly founded religion to conquer and colonize the Arabian Peninsula. He massacred communities that refused to convert to Islam. For example, in 627 AD, the Islamic army massacred the Jewish community of Banu Qurayza. They executed every single man in the community and forcibly took their wives and daughters as slaves. See, in the Quran, it says that if you kill a man in battle, you have a right to his wife, and you're allowed to have up to 4 wives. So colonization of indigenous communities is encoded into the Quran. From there, they went on to conquer and colonize Iran, which was traditionally a Zoroastrian land for thousands of years. And within Iran, multiple religions flourished, such as Judaism and Christianity, because core principles of Zoroastrianism are freedom of choice and equality of all humans. At first, those who refused to convert were murdered. They began to realize that Iranians didn't want to convert to Islam, and they couldn't murder every Iranian because they depended on Iranians for their caliphate's economy to function. So what they did is made Zoroastrians and other religious groups second-class citizens. Under Islamic rule, Zoroastrians were not allowed to ride horses. We weren't allowed to have dogs, which are sacred in Zoroastrianism. And we had to wear specific clothing that identified us as non-Muslim and Zoroastrian. Does that sound familiar? And on top of stripping away all of our native cultural traditions, we had to pay a tax for not being Muslim called a jizya tax. And we had to do it through a humiliation ritual where we went and bowed to our Muslim rulers and paid them our tax. And under the Islamic law, if you converted to Islam, you got to get the inheritance from your deceased relatives instead of your Zoroastrian relatives. And for a long period of time after those initial conquests, we weren't even allowed to speak our language, Farsi. This is all documented in the book 2 Centuries of Silence. I highly recommend reading it. And so this system of Islamic colonization forced many of our ancestors to convert to Islam simply out of convenience. If you're not allowed to ride a horse, how are you able to get to the next town to sell your goods? If you have to pay an extra tax that your neighbors and competitors in business don't have to pay, then you get screwed. This oppression continued for centuries with every following Muslim dynasty that ruled Iran, except for the Pahlavi dynasty. Before the Safavid Empire, there were over 500,000 Zoroastrians in Iran. By the end of the Safavid Empire, there were only 100,000 left after mass murders of Zoroastrians. After that, the Qajar dynasty took the number of Zoroastrians in Iran from 100,000 down to 10,000. Now, Zoroastrians fought very hard to maintain their faith, and we still exist to this day. Small communities continue to exist in places like Yazd, and a lot of Zoroastrians had to flee to India in order to maintain their faith. Thanks to those people, I was able to revert to Zoroastrianism, which has completely changed my life and helped me kind of unravel generations of trauma, and it's helped me become a much better husband and father and member of my community. And that's what brave Iranians are fighting for and dying for right now in the streets of Iran. The right to be themselves, the right to their indigenous faith and culture, the right to freedom. In Iran, it's illegal for women to show their hair. It's illegal for them to dance. It's illegal for them to sing, but that's not who we are. In Zoroastrian Iran, women were extremely well respected. They were businesswomen, they were military commanders, they were queens who ruled the entire empire. And a huge difference in Zoroastrianism is that we don't say that the woman has to be subservient to the man. We say that the man and woman must earn each other through righteousness every day. We are not, it's very easy to say that you're superior because of the gender you were born with. The harder and more challenging path is to earn your place and earn your respect every day. And that's what Zoroastrianism calls on us to do. The Islamic regime has completely blacked out the internet. They turn off the switch whenever these protests happen so they can slaughter our people in the dark. So if any of this connects or resonates with you, we need your help. I don't think many people understand that this is potentially the most significant point in history in the 21st century. If the Islamic regime is gone, all of their terrorist proxies, such as Hezbollah and Hamas, are gone, and the conflict in the Middle East will begin to dissipate. If you actually care about people's lives in the Middle East, please help us and speak up now. What we do in life echoes in eternity.
To back it up with evidence, you need to see this. This was Iran before. Iran before. Today, this is Iran. What is the difference? Very clear.